Crowds marching through Lenox Mall tonight, demanding their voices be heard in our community.
Atlanta praying for America. CBS 46 rolling as local churches gathering together this afternoon in a call for peace and understanding.
And details still unfolding after 5 police officers are shot and killed in Dallas, Texas, inciting protests all around the country. The newest developments just into our newsroom. Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon Reed. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Dunstan with protests happening all over Metro Atlanta tonight. Rain could affect some of the activity.
Right now, a look live over Midtown. Skies are clear for now, but let's turn to meteorologist Ella Dorsey, who is tracking the storms. Ella.
Well, it does look like North Georgia is mostly dry for now, but we're watching a line develop in eastern Alabama. It's going to slide into our state through the evening hours, so I do expect our rain chances to increase as we head into the next few hours. Going to be still in the 90s as we head to 7 p.m. By 9 p.m., I think that's when we see the best chance for scattered showers in the Atlanta and metro area, and thereafter that rain should begin to fizzle out. So about a 40% chance between around 8 and 9 p.m. I'll have more details on that and on tomorrow after the break, guys.
Ella, thanks. Breaking news right now out of Dallas, Texas. The Dallas Police Department is on lockdown right now after what's being called a credible threat. The SWAT team is responding. You can see a SWAT vehicle right here. This picture just tweeted out by the local CBS affiliate in Dallas. We are working to find out more information about this threat. This all, of course, as you know, comes 2 days after 5 officers were shot and killed during a Black Lives Matter protest there. We'll have more on that in just a minute. Sharon?
Back here at home in Atlanta tonight, we have a team of reporters. They're covering the latest with a nation on edge. Several protests concerning police shootings are set to begin in just a few minutes.
And tonight that group tried to shut down the connector. They're aiming for a third attempt. Christian De La Rosa live now in Midtown. So Christian, where are you and what are you seeing?
Well, we're on the 17th Street Bridge here in Midtown area where in about an hour they are calling it day 3, the Black Lives Matter movement. They plan to be out here for yet another protest. But I want to give you a quick update that I literally just got minutes ago from Atlanta Police telling me about their security plan tonight. They don't plan to be out in full force for the very beginning of the protest. They plan to use the resources that they already have in place. That means surveillance cameras in the area here. They're going to be monitoring the situation. They also tell me they're going to have undercover officers out here for that protest that is set to begin in just about an hour. Now, let's go ahead and show you what it looked like last night, because that crowd grew to about 10,000 people, and Chopper 46 brought you the images live of those protesters attempting to get on the interstate, at one point surrounding this big rig, preventing it from passing. Once Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed saw the protest potentially escalating, he went to join the crowd. Speaking with us during our 11 o'clock news, he urged restraint.
I just wanted to remind people that we have been very respectful of them all day. The only thing that I have asked is that people not walk onto our interstates.
Now, a total of 3 people, we are told, were detained, so it was pretty peaceful. I mean, when you consider how big of a crowd it was and the hours that they were out in the streets of Atlanta, 10,000 people, just 3 people that were taken into custody, so everything remained peaceful. I was speaking also with the president of Black Lives Matter in the greater Atlanta area. He tells me that they want this to be a peaceful protest. They're asking people to bring water. They're asking people to make sure that they are safe. No word yet on what may happen tonight. We have heard some rumors of protesters wanting to attempt to get on the interstate here tonight. But again, the call for action is also a peaceful one. Of course, we're going to stay out here and continue to monitor the situation and continue to bring you updates throughout the evening. Sharon, Mike.
Christian, thank you. A local police patrolling the streets. Fire stations are on high alert tonight. Right now, all Atlanta fire stations are on lockdown, and that means there is an extra sense of heightened security, and that also means no vehicles are being left out, and they restrict unnecessary movements. Georgia Congressman David Scott is speaking out about the recent police shootings. Today, he condemned the deadly shooting of 5 police officers, saying violence is not the answer. But Scott says protests are necessary because there is an issue with racism in our country. Scott suggested some ways to immediately respond to these recent events.
We have black and white police officers paired together as partners. That will not only help the police departments, but it will show an immediate consideration of the alarm and concerns of the people.
Congressman Scott also spoke about the lack of resources in low-income communities, especially among black men. He says Congress has a lot of work ahead and needs to act fast.
And today, the Atlanta pastor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s church made a nationwide appearance on CNN. Dr. Raphael Warnock, the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, said our country has to change the criminal justice system.
America warehouses 25% of the world's prisoners. You don't get to be the incarceration capital of the world by playing nice on the streets. And so this argument about whether cops are good or bad misses the point. The police officers, in a real sense, are cogs in a wheel.
And tonight, the group Black Lives Matter is holding more demonstrations here in Metro Atlanta. Look for a sit-in to get started within the hour in Gwinnett County. Natalie Rubino joining us live now from Lawrenceville. So, Natalie, what's happening right now?
Mike, right now, this is an event that has been circulating on social media, the Black Lives Matter sit-in. It's scheduled to happen at around 7 o'clock right here on the Lawrenceville lawn. We're told it's supposed to be a peaceful sit-in, and that's very similar to these rallies that we've been seeing taking place around Metro Atlanta this weekend. Earlier today, different religious groups gathered to pray for an end to the violence. Oh, freedom. Saturday in Metro Atlanta was a day filled with sorrow, prayer, and above all, hope.
I thank you right now, Lord God, that you will bring America together right now, Father God.
Men and women of all races joined hands in unity for an hour of empowerment in front of Atlanta's Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial.
We have to come together with the law enforcement community and come to a compromise of peace and understand that, hey, we respect you have a job. We know you are here to protect and serve us, but at the same time, don't hurt us, don't abuse us.
I think it is imperative to know why you're here.
Just a few blocks away, our very own Gloria Neal participated in an intergenerational discussion about faith and how the country can come together in the wake of the police killings of 2 black men and the murders of 5 Dallas police officers.
We thank you, O Lord, for Jesus Christ is the answer. They are calling for change.
Those prayers and peaceful demonstrations will continue here on the Lawrenceville lawn tonight. In just under an hour, the Black Lives Matter movement is scheduled to hold a sit-in here. We'll bring you the latest. We'll be here for the event, talking to people participating, and we'll give you updates both online and tonight on air at 11. I'm live in Gwinnett County. Natalie Rubino, CBS 46 News.
The demented individual who carried out those attacks in Dallas, he's no more representative of African Americans than the shooter in Charleston was representative of white Americans, or the shooter in Orlando or San Bernardino were representative of Muslim Americans. They don't speak for us. That's not who we are.
Right now, federal investigators are trying to piece together what led up to Thursday's deadly attack on police officers in Dallas. Authorities say the gunman, identified as Micah Xavier Johnson, killed 5 officers. They say he was angry over the recent police shootings of 2 black men this week. A U.S. intelligence source saying Johnson, a former Army reservist, had been planning the attack for some time. Weapons and bomb-making materials were found inside his home. Meantime, a memorial for the 5 officers killed continues to grow. This assault was the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement since 9/11. The Dallas mayor spoke about what he hopes comes out of the tragedy.
We're all human here, and I think that people feel each other's pain, and that's what makes it great. That's what makes you hopeful.
President Obama will cut short a trip to Europe this weekend so he can visit the Dallas area early next week. Mike?
Sharon, some say the back-to-back killings of Alton Sterling in Louisiana and Philando Castillo in Minnesota are reminders of the racial disparities troubling our nation. Here in Atlanta, amid the protests, black parents say the conversation is also about survival for their kids. Morning anchor Gloria Neal spoke with parents who are preparing their kids to deal with police.
If you were to take my husband away from me right now, I would be a widow of 4 children, 3 sons, 1 daughter.
The deadly shootings of 2 black men by police officers this week is on the hearts and minds of many in Atlanta's black community, but not only in the black community, in many other communities as well. Alton Sterling and Philando Castile gunned down, and the last minutes of their lives caught on cell phone video. Well, it sparked outrage and fear here in Atlanta as well as in the rest of the nation.
We don't deserve this. No one deserves this, but as a black mother, as a black wife, my black man definitely doesn't deserve it.
Both men leave behind young children, and many doubt the officers will face any punishment.
I think it's the culture that we live in. It perpetuates our inability to be human. They look at us as animals, and I think they love animals more than they love us.
At the Tag Concept Salon in Midtown, the conversation was all about the future. And how do you talk to black children here in Atlanta? You were talking earlier, Amir, about black kids, and I know you have kids. What do you tell them in order for them to be themselves today, to be accepted, and to stay safe?
Some of these police officers are demeaning our children, black men, and they get something out of this to dominate another individual. So if they're having a bad day, it could be taken out on my daughter. It's not just our sons, it's our children. It's our wives. It's all of us.
These conversations are tough, but black parents say they've been a way of life for years. Blacks continue to be shot at 2.5 times the rates of whites.
You go through things like never run towards anyone, always have your hands up, look them in the eye, speak clearly and let them know what you're doing when you're doing it. But, you know, when they're faced with something like that, who's to say what they'll do? They're nervous.
The feeling used to be that if you comply with an officer, you'll walk away alive. But in the wake of these recent shootings, some aren't so sure.
But when I'm dealing with a police officer with a gun and I already know he's afraid of me, he's afraid of every move I do, I don't even have a rock in my pocket, he's afraid of me, I have to be careful.
A sentiment many across the nation have become accustomed to. Gloria Neal, CBS 46 News.
Tonight, Metro Atlanta showering random acts of kindness and love on police officers in the wake of the ambush in Texas.
How local police are returning the favor online and outside.
And I tracked down one of the 3 people arrested at last night's protests. She describes the experience and tells us everything that happened. That's coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Thousands of people took to the streets of Atlanta last night to protest, but only 3 were arrested.
Yeah, Georgia State Patrol charged 3 women for walking on an interstate ramp. Tonight, Dante Renzulli live at the Fulton County Jail, where he spoke to one of those locked up protesters. Dante.
Yeah, Sharon and Mike, she definitely didn't hold back during this interview. And even though she says it wasn't really a fun experience getting arrested, she's got no regrets, and she'd do it again.
Because that's the point in this. Like, the point is to inconvenience everybody. Like, we have to shut the city down so y'all know that we're serious.
Protesters like Tanjanika Florence did succeed in shutting down some roads last night. Our cameras caught some tense moments when the driver of this tow truck became the target of the crowd's anger. He tried to inch through them to get where he was going, and people started throwing everything they could find at him. He eventually had to back out with the help of police. Florence says she was originally with a large group of people who said they were going to run down and block the interstate, but when she looked around, she was the only one who had the guts to go through with it.
Because I am not a punk and I really mean what I say.
Florence ended up with just a written citation and didn't have to go to jail, but she spent plenty of time in the back of a hot police car.
I know that as soon as they put me in that car, I called my dad because I was actually a little bit scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I was like this, and I had to dial. But, you know, it worked out. He sat there. He stayed on the phone with me the whole time.
Florence says even if she ended up with more than a citation, it would have been worth it.
I have to be ready and willing to spend a few nights in jail for what they believe in.
Yeah, Florence may have escaped jail time, but the other 2 people arrested last night, they're in the building right behind me. Now, as for Florence, she says she's looking for some more protests to join up with tonight. Looks like she might have some opportunities. Reporting live at the Fulton County Jail, I'm Dante Renzulli, CBS 46 News.
All right, Dante, thank you. While some Atlanta police officers were on the front lines keeping law and order during the protests, some were sharing good vibes and moments with kids in our community.
Certainly were. It was part of the Police in the Park event. It was held yesterday at the historic 4th Ward Skate Park. Kids, they got to enjoy games, other activities. They also got a chance to meet with local police officers. The goal of this event, it's for officers to build a stronger bond with the people they serve.
Police in the Park is about us giving back, saying thank you, but also showing you that we're serving you and we want to know that you're here.
Now, the Atlanta Police Department is going to hold 2 more Police in the Park events. They'll happen next month. One is being held in Grant Park August 7th. The other, it's on August 27th at Washington Park. Tonight, the Canton Police Department is saying thank you in this video on its Facebook page. The chief says his officers have been overwhelmed by the support of the community in response to the recent events. And if you're looking for something to do tonight, they are hosting a Read with a Cop program at Etowah River Park. It starts at 7.
Certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast for the 2nd year in a row. Now, CBS 46 meteorologist Ella Dorsey.
We saw some light showers earlier, but most of those have now fizzled out, and we are mostly dry here in North Georgia, with the exception of this small little cell it's pushing into. It looks like Banks County now. It still has a little bit of lightning on it. So, Homer, you're probably going to see some heavy rain in the next 10 minutes. Again, there is some heavy rain out in Alabama. A line is formed from Birmingham, extending all the way to LaGrange. So LaGrange may see some light showers, but I do think the majority of that rain is going to stick in Alabama through the evening. Here's a look at our Futurecast model. By 9 p.m., isolated thunderstorms are possible. These are mainly going to be on the western fringe of our state. Counties bordering Alabama may see a shower or two, and then we'll see things die down as we head into the latter hours of the evening. Overnight tonight, clouds will be mostly cloudy overnight, so we're going to wake up with cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-70s. It'll be a muggy day once again tomorrow. Mostly cloudy through the morning, temperatures in the upper 80s by the time you eat lunch. Through the afternoon, a little bit more sunshine. We'll see isolated showers tomorrow, mainly to the south of the city, okay? Between around 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then I do think things dry out as we head into tomorrow evening. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the low 90s. Again, isolated thunderstorms, about a 20% chance, mainly to the south of Atlanta, with mostly cloudy skies through the day tomorrow. Next weather maker is a cold front. It's going to approach overnight tonight, and it stalls out by Monday. That's when we'll see the highest chance for rain, about a 40% chance for scattered showers Monday. That stationary front slowly lifts back into Tennessee on Tuesday, and that keeps northern parts of our state with about a 30% chance for showers. So we are going to see a good chance for rain pretty much each day over the next week. Very typical for this time of year. You get into the summer, you see those afternoon thunderstorms here in the south. So here's a look at that 7-day. The heat is going to hold on as we head through the week too. No mid-90s, no upper 90s, thank goodness, but we are going to see 90 degrees pretty much each day with isolated showers pretty much each afternoon as well. Rain chances will increase as we head into next weekend. But Monday, take the umbrella to work with you just in case.
Still hard to get used to the 90s. It feels suffocating at night for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, and this has been a very hot summer, and we're also in a very bad drought. So hopefully we can really wring the atmosphere of all that moisture on Monday.
Thank you, Ella.
There's other local news to tell you about. A deadly crash involving a tractor trailer here in Metro Atlanta. What happened that caused a woman to go flying out of her SUV? Tonight, protesters are set to take place all over Metro Atlanta. This after demonstrators marched on the streets of downtown Atlanta last night for Black Lives Matter and other groups.
NAACP among them. Some people just wanted to be part of something. We want to take you back live now to the 17th Street Bridge, where a small group of protesters is now on scene there holding their signs. The protest is set to begin again shortly. Our Christian De La Rosa has been talking with organizers, and he's on scene. Watch for his updates throughout the night. Now, it was a mostly quiet scene around Lenox Square Mall in Buckhead. Few protesters took their message inside the mall today for a brief period. That happened earlier tonight. We'll be sure to let you know protests start back up.
To other news now, and new at 6, Cobb County Police trying to figure out what caused a deadly crash involving a tractor trailer. This happened early this morning on I-75 near I-285 in Marietta. Investigators say a woman was driving an SUV and crashed into the side of a tractor trailer and lost control. The force of the crash threw the woman from the SUV Medics rushed her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The driver of the tractor trailer was not hurt and no charges are expected. Also new at 6, the ramp from Arthur Langford Parkway to Sylvan Road in southwest Atlanta is back open tonight. This morning, authorities shut it down temporarily after a car and truck crashed, causing an oil spill. No one was hurt.
Federal, state, and local safety officials want you to be safe inside your car. Today, they held a free safety check at the Atlanta Farmers Market and Forest Park. Safety experts check things like tire inflation, proper car seat installation, and they also checked for any safety recalls. Officials say drivers in Atlanta, they are at an increased risk of injury from things like defective airbags.
Atlanta is in the zone. We know now that there's several factors that affect the risk you have of an airbag inflator rupturing. One of them has to do with moisture, so clearly the kind of temperatures and high humidity you get here in Atlanta puts you at risk.
Now you can check to see if your car has any safety recalls online. We've posted a link on CBS46.com. Just look under web links. New at 6, someone is a mega millionaire.
And unless you've been to the Hoosier State recently, sorry, it's not you. A single winning ticket was sold in Indiana. Last night's jackpot was worth $540 million. So far, the winner has not come forward, but if you're curious as to what those numbers were, here they are again. You might have won a couple of bucks, right? 8, 19, 20, 55, 73, and the mega ball is 5. And Ella, let's talk about the weather. You really can't buy a break from this heat. I wish we could, right?
Not hitting the lottery with the forecast. Here's a look. We are going to pretty much be dry from here on out, with the exception for an isolated shower to the south of the city between around 9 now and 10 p.m. Here's a look at that 7-day. Isolated showers tomorrow. The best chance for rain over the next week will be Monday and then late next week.
Ella, thank you. For Sharon Reed, meteorologist Ella Dorsey, and the entire CBS 46 News team, I'm Mike Dunstan.
The CBS Evening News is coming up next. Count on us here at CBS 46 to keep you updated throughout the night on demonstrations throughout Metro Atlanta.